class. And in this class, we're going to be looking at how we can design websites. But this is just an introductory part of the class. And in this class, we're just going to be looking at some basic concepts of things we need to understand. Now, website is something that is very, very important in this digital world. Everyone needs to have a website. Everyone needs to be able to put their products online, put their information online so that you can gain more visibility, because there's quite a number of opportunities on the web, and then one of the ways you actually tap into that opportunity is you having a website. So this course is actually geared towards helping you being able to design a very professional website in a very easy way possible, and that's what we're going to be getting into shortly. So before we get into the practicals, and because it's going to be a hands-on class, we're basically going to be doing things live, and we're going to be able to build a website at the end of the day. So we're going to just look at a few concepts of some definitions of certain things that we come across, and so that you can have an idea of what they mean, and now you can also get the most out of those things. So the first thing we look at is, what is a website? So a website, basically, also written as web site, is a collection of web pages and related content that is identified by a common domain name and published on at least one web server. So basically, the definition basically means that when we say website has to do with a collection of various web pages or related content. Yeah, so basically, I'm sure you might have seen a website before, obviously. Probably you even got this to know about this course either from a website or from somewhere. So, like for example, if you visit jumia.com, jumia.com.ng is a website. So, and that's why when you see you have several things you can click on that will lead you to several pages. However, what you see showing outside of you, what you see, the display, the graphical user interface you're seeing, the things you're able to interact with that you are seeing are made up of several components. And then if you know about web design, web development, programming, you see that there are quite a number of codes that are written to achieve the end results you eventually see. So website is basically a collection of data, a collection of rather web pages in bits and pieces together that eventually now forms something you can relate with. However, it is identified by a common domain and also published on at least one web server. So I'm going to explain what a domain is next, so that you can have an idea of what a domain, because a lot of people have asked me that question, especially people who just want to have websites, and you tell them they need a domain. They ask, what do you mean by a domain? So let's look at it. What is a domain name? Now, a domain name basically is just an identification string that defines a realm of administrative autonomy, authority, or control within the internet. So I'll just put it this way, that a domain name is basically like your business name online, okay? It's just like a name that you use online to identify, or that people can be able to reach you. Just the same way you have your business name, right, that is unique to you. The same thing also is a domain name. It's just like your name on the internet, your name online, where people can reach you on and be able to have access to you. So that name, for example, www.google.com is a domain name. So that's the name. So the name of your domain has to be unique, and it has to be simple enough for people to remember, and also be related to your brand. It doesn't have to be your entire business name. Like if you are, say Sheilo Global Services Nigeria Limited, that's where you're registered. You can't use the whole of that as a domain name. That's quite too long. So it's better you just look for something more concise that you can use, and that also does not totally go out of your brand. So something that can easily work with your brand, something you can easily flow with, that people can easily remember, very importantly, so that you can also be able to reach you easily online. So another very important thing we need to look at is web hosting. Now this is the other part, because when it comes to web design, two things are very important to know. your domain name, like I said, which is your unique name online, which is your business name in that sense, and also the hosting. So basically, from what we have here, hosting is basically a service that allows organizations and individuals to post websites or web pages on the internet. Now, like we looked at earlier, that a website is a collection of web pages, right? So now that web pages, those different components that you have designed, for it to be displayed on the internet, it needs to be hosted on a service called the web hosting service. Okay, just if I use a real life situation, just the same way you have a product you want to sell, but however you need a space, let's say in the physical store now, where you can display those products, which will mean you go rent a shop, you go rent a store where you can now bring in those products and display there. So that shop or that space that you rented or you bought is your hosting service in this sense. Now that could be related to your host. So your host basically is where your products, your information, your website pages are put on so that it can be seen on the internet. However, your domain name is the address. Okay, I think that would be a good one. Your domain name is like the address. So the address you visit to get to your shop. So number 12 Olumoroti Street is the domain name, for example, is the address. So when you get into number 12, as you enter into the premises, that premises is the host. So what you now see within the premises could be related to your websites or your web pages. So that's how it goes. So basically, for someone to be able to see your website, to be able to see your product or your service online, they need to be able to visit a domain name, right? And the domain name will take them to a host which already keeps all the web pages you want people to see, which already helps you protect or put them in a very proper way so that people can see. And there are various web hosting providers, and there are quite a number of them out there. In Nigeria here we have Google Host and quite a number. I love Google Host, not for anything, but I think they're good. And we have so many other ones internationally. We have Namecheap, we have GoDaddy, we have HostGator, we have Reseller Club. There are quite a number of them online there, Only Domain. So many of these providers will help you with your hosting and also your domain. So we're going to look at that anyway later. I'll show you how to get a host and how to purchase a domain. So that's that. Now, when you purchase a domain, another very important thing you would likely have, depending on the web host platform you buy, is the Cpanel, which is like one of the most common control panel we have. So a Cpanel is basically the web hosting control panel, okay, and it helps you to manage your web hosting service, because when you purchase a web hosting service, there are quite a number of things you can do on it. There are quite a number of things you can actually do, and this Cpanel is like this control area where you're able to now walk around so many things that you have learned, so many things you want to do. You want to create an email, you want to put in content, you want to do some management of your host. Generally, there are quite a number of them. We'll see them as we move on. Quite a number of things you can do, and it has a graphical user interface with several tools that you can use as the owner of the host. So that's quite a number of things you can do with your Cpanel. So we'll look at quite a number of things as we move on in the next class. I hope you enjoyed this. To have a great day. We'll see you next.